My name is Harry, and I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
Today is January 10th, 2026. It is 7:19 a.m. So I just finished edit whatever I recorded yesterday, and I did say on my last recording I will be starting with this video. So if you're not interested into US politics, so this video may not be for you. My next video I probably will be talking about Harry and Meghan and some topics I saw regarding the media in the UK talking about Meghan's as usual, they're typical. But in this video, I sort of gonna cover some part of US politics, mostly New York City and ICE. And I will not be going too deep into them. It's just some videos that I saw, and not only do I want to listen to them, and I want to share them with you. All right, so this is the first one. It only took Zohran 8 days as mayor to deliver one of his top 3 campaign promises: free universal childcare. All right, Mayor Mamdani achieved universal childcare in just 8 days. Okay, it's repeating. Let's listen.
It only took Zohran Mamdani 8 days as mayor to achieve one of his top 3 major campaign promises: free universal childcare for all of New York City.
First week on the job, but you never know it, Mayor Mamdani put forth a vision for this city, and that is to make this city more affordable, more livable, more people-friendly. So today, we're working together with the mayor into a concrete, multi-year roadmap that'll ultimately deliver universal childcare for every single New York family, statewide, regardless of their income. Every child will have the same opportunity, get the same head start. And today, I'm proud to announce that New York State is paying the full cost.
Okay, it's playing over. One of the things that, I was reading some of the comments. I didn't listen to the video, but when I first put on the list, I was reading some of the comments. The things that they saw, look at the first one, is about funding, where the money is coming from, where's this and that. But yet you have Trump taking a whole bunch of American tax dollars. Let me go search it. I did show it on my last video, some other videos. Let me see if I still have some of those screenshots. Let me pause and search for it. Okay, like something like this. In 2025, the Trump administration sent money to several countries to accept deportees. Where are these people who's complaining about Mamdani's providing childcare for every New Yorkers? Where are these people complaining about what Trump did with our tax dollars? I don't live in New York. I will not be benefiting from what the mayor is doing. But it's a good thing. And yeah, so there's this. I don't have to search for it, so I have it here. All right, so did I finish listening to it? Yeah. All right, so pretty much that was that. The most fundamental rule of economics is that nothing is free. Okay, yes, nothing is free, but what about what Trump is doing? Many of these New Yorkers then pay tax for that particular program to help them. There have been studies about how childcare help society, especially the workforce. Parents don't have to worry about where their kids are and financial burden and all of that. Look at the screen. I think I'll look for something about that. But when money is being used for, let's say, ICE, who's literally terrorized Americans and their communities, nobody's saying anything about that. I don't want to go in the comments anymore because the haters, the rangers, you name it, they're going to start complaining. But yet when the millionaires are taking taxpayers' money to waste, nobody say anything. It's always acceptable. So this is somebody who's benefiting from the taxpayer, whatever the mayor have said. In his 8th day in office, Zohran saved this woman $36,000 in childcare fees. He's delivering on his promise. There was something I was thinking.
Can I tell you how much of a relief I feel today after what was just announced? Because my family is going to save $36,000 next year in daycare fees because of what Zohran Mamdani just announced. And it's his 8th day in office. It's his 8th day in office. Like, he's literally delivering on what he promised. So, again, vote for people who aren't in bed with lobbyists, corporations, and APAC, and shit actually gets done. Can I tell you?
This is why the MAGAs were so invested in New York City, because New York City brings a lot of money. A lot of the taxpayers' money that goes to red state or from states, let's say New York, Illinois. I was gonna say Chicago. Chicago is a city, but Illinois, California, and I think some part of Texas in the south. But these are the top states that give federal tax dollars, and many of those tax dollars goes to red states that are the rich who live in those red states are sucking in the tax dollars, and the people, the citizens in their states, in those red states, are so freaking blind. And this is what's making them going crazy right now. They don't know what's going on because they keep on voting for people who keep on promising them a beautiful thing, but they never get it. Okay? They project certain things. You're gonna get this, you're gonna get that. Every day they tell them you're gonna get. They never get. So there's New York. They're finally getting what they're getting. And a lot of them saw the difference, the New Yorkers. Since 2020, when Biden was in office, they've been trying, the MAGA's been trying to get their MAGAs into the governorship. I've highlighted either in this channel or PYTE, probably on this channel, because I had that already. They've been trying to get the mayor office. They didn't get it. The New Yorkers are opening their eyes, and I hope many of them are seeing things for what it is, because some people, when they don't get what they need right away, they get upset and they don't go to the booth to vote. They keep on saying, oh, it's the rich are getting richer and this and that. That's because they don't go to the voting booth to vote and study who's running for what office and to put the right people in. So when their buddies, let's say the MAGAs, are in office, so they are in one page. Okay, to black, look what they did to President Obama second term. Actually, first term, second part of his first term. The MAGAs got in office, they black. But when you put people who's for you, let's say Obama's first half of his first term, we were able to get ACA. And then they told us, the MAGAs, the Republicans, been telling us they do not want the ACA. In many shape or form, they black. But Obama pushed through along with Democrats. They were trying to work with Republicans. Eventually they got it. And then now, I don't know what happened to people. They going for the futuristic thing, where MAGAs were promising them things and they never get it. And then what they did right away is to remove the not universal, but the ACA. And now people, healthcare is going up. But nobody's complaining about, well, people are complaining, but those people who's commenting about, where those money is coming from to pay for universal childcare and all of that, where is it coming from? But nobody's talking about what the Republican is doing. Okay, let's leave that alone. I shared this already. She's saying that her family is saving $36,000 and healthcare. Not healthcare, childcare fee. Next to it, I really don't want this video to be too long. Alright, so this should have been first. On day 8 of our administration, there's the governor, Kathy, alright, the governor of New York, and I announced the beginning of universal childcare in New York City. No longer will New Yorkers be forced to choose between starting a family and continuing to live in the city they love. This only happens because of you. All right, 2 minutes and 7 seconds screenshot.
When I launched my campaign for mayor over a year ago, I made 3 promises to New Yorkers: freeze the rent for rent-stabilized tenants, make buses fast and free, and deliver universal childcare. Some said these goals were impossible, unrealistic, naive. Well, yesterday our movement won a historic victory for working families across the city. On day 8 of our administration, we announced the beginning of universal childcare for all New Yorkers.
Ladies and gentlemen, our mayor.
Yesterday in Flatbush, I stood alongside Governor Kathy Hochul to announce a $1.2 billion commitment in state funding for universal childcare. As the governor said, the days of empty promises are over. This investment will allow us to make childcare for 3-year-olds truly universal in New York City by adding more seats in neighborhoods where families have been shut out for far too long. It will allow us to start providing universal childcare to 2-year-olds, delivering it to all of them by the end of our first term. At the end of the year, thousands of parents will look at their bank accounts and see that they have now saved more than $20,000 per child. That is real relief. It is real change. And it is a testament to government's ability to make people's lives better. I want to be very clear. Working class New Yorkers delivered this victory. We are here today because of the millions of doors that you knocked, the phone calls you made, the canvases you showed up for in the freezing cold and sweltering heat, each time making the case to your neighbors that a better future is possible. This is a movement that was brave enough to make a promise, and even braver to know it could fulfill it. No longer will New Yorkers be forced to accept that starting a family...
Oh, shit. I was trying to do this while it was playing, but I'll get back to it. Okay, I wanted to respond to this where this person, so who's paying for this? Because nothing in life is free. That's black. I don't want to see anything from that. All right, let's continue. It was somewhere here.
At the end of the year, thousands of parents will look at their bank accounts and see that they have now saved more than $20,000 per child. That is real relief. It is real change. And it is a testament to government's ability to make people's lives better. I want to be very clear. Working class New Yorkers delivered this victory. We are here today because of the millions of doors that you knocked, the phone calls you made, the canvases you showed up for in the freezing cold and sweltering heat, each time making the case to your neighbors that a better future is possible. This is a movement that was brave enough to make a promise, and even braver to know it could fulfill it. No longer will New Yorkers be forced to accept that starting a family means leaving the city you love. Every political victory is a choice, and yesterday, Governor Hochul and I made the choice to deliver for working families and children. The work has only just begun. There is so much more to do to deliver truly universal childcare for every family, every child, and every New Yorker we serve. But never let anyone tell you that progress needs to be slow.
Alright, so there's that. You're gonna see a lot of naysayers saying their nonsense. What is this? Dr. Mish, who went to, okay? Dr. Mish, who, is that an ad? No. Okay, how much is that gonna cost? And taxpayers, okay? This is the same thing. Nobody's questioning the amount of money Trump wasted the first few minutes he got in office. You know what? Let me tweet it out. So that's that. I don't know how this is gonna show. Let's see. Did my thing show up? Let me see. Profile. I'm done with this, okay? Replies. Did my thing show up? This is what I hate. It didn't show up. There's I see why. I see why. Let's go back to this. I'm gonna delete it. Let's go back. You know, let me just go to this. We tweeted it. Okay, let's see how it shows. Let's go back to this profile. Okay, so it shows this one. It is because of this. Alright, delete that one. I wanted my thing to pop up like this. Okay, I'm done with this. Let's go to the next tweet. 2 more and then I'm done with this, and I'll do another video for that talks about Harry and Meghan. Okay, Pastor. I saw ICE agent circling a young woman who appeared to be Hispanic. I said to this ICE agent, "Take me, stop harassing her." The agent got in my face, pointed a gun at me, and said, "Are you afraid now?" To which I said, "I'm not afraid." The next thing I knew, they were putting handcuffs on me, and they put me in the back of a SUV. I asked them if I was under arrest. They said to me, "Well, you're white, you won't be any fun anyway." Wow. It's the same tactic that I saw that was happening in the Middle East. They trigger people. A lot of Palestinians ignore them until we see what we see now. Let's continue.
Yesterday, I noticed that there was something going on just a block and a half from the church. And so I grabbed my whistles because we're used to doing that. And I went down to see what was going on, and I realized it was an ICE raid, and there were many, many protesters. So I joined the protesting, and before I knew it, I saw ICE agents circling a young woman who appeared to be Hispanic. And so I approached her, and we were at that point chanting, "We are not afraid, we are not afraid, go out of our state, we are not afraid." And I said to this ICE agent, "Take me, stop harassing her, take me." The agent came, got in my face, pointed a gun at me, and said, "Are you afraid now?" To which I said, "I am not afraid." The next thing I knew, they were putting handcuffs on me, and they put me in the back of an SUV. They came back 3 times, and they asked me if I was afraid yet. To which I replied, "Hell no, I'm not afraid of you, and I'm never going to be afraid of you." The 3rd time when they came back, they asked for my identification. They asked for my cell phone. I asked them if I was under arrest. They didn't answer. And then they said to me, "Well, you're white. You won't be any fun anyway. You can get out of the car." I was astounded to experience and see such blatant racism and the effects that this is having on our community.
Okay, they're testing this in America. Don't be too surprised. At some point, it will go on to the next country. Because I remember about a year and a half ago, could be 2 years, it was in Spain. I saw something similar like that happen. The only reason they let these black young men off is because they were professional football. Okay, so let's leave that alone. Let's go to the next one. So I decided not to really show images or tweets about the lady that was killed, but people who's talking about it, I want to share that with you. Okay, because your blood when you see these images is really crazy. What ICE did to that white woman is not black business. This is what white people say about blacks when they are killed by the police. All right, let's listen to her.
I want y'all to be so fucking for real. Like I said before, rest in peace to Renee Good. What happened to her should have not happened. And yes, I should pay for what they did. But I want y'all to be fucking for real. I'm not shocked. I'm not outraged. Because this has been happening to my community ever since we came out of fucking shackles. It is now finally spilled over into the white community. White people are now being put in the same position as black folks and people of color. Y'all are finally starting to get a little bit of, maybe a percentage of what it feels like for your rights to be infringed on, for people who don't give a fuck about you. America has always been racist. They've always punched down of people of color and black people. Hell, 100 years ago at the fucking Capitol, the KKK had a nice ass march with 30,000 KKK members because they felt like white folks weren't on top in this country. Now we got a new Grand Wizard. His name is Wigs R Us. And his Grand Dragon is Stephen Miller. His Grand Titan is Pete Hegseth and Christy Noem. His Grand Cluckster, which is a recruiter, is Cash Patel. And ICE is the recruitment. I think this year is the awakening of white people finally understanding what black people and people of color have been saying for decades in this country. The KKK never stopped existing. They started off as people who ran and hunted down slaves reaching for freedom, trying to get out of shackles. Then they got hoods. Then they became police officers. Some of them trickled down into the government and ran for senator, governor, or representative of a state. Some of them fled into the FBI, the CIA. Hell, you could practically say they living in the White House right now. I think a lot of y'all have forgot this part of history. That if you were a white person and you supported black people having equal rights back then, black people being free, black people having a voice, black people being able to vote, black people getting equal pay, you were clipped as well. Yes, they took you out. I think that's starting to come back around again. And Renee is a prime example of somebody unbeknownstly standing between racism and hate and being seen as a threat because of who she sided with. I want black people to be more angry than what we are. Baby, this is our life. This is nothing new. It's just that now racism has finally poured into the white community. Nobody's safe now.
Remember how I used to say, in order for them to understand it, they have to feel it. So we all experience it. And I said, I do not like what's going on. Many of these things could have been easily avoided. But new immigrants that came to the US then understand the foundation of the country. Whatever they were running away from, they voted for it in the US. Black people been telling them over and over, but instead they sided with the racists to hate on black people. So in order for many of them to understand, they have to feel it. We don't want them to feel it, but it is what it is. And I feel like as angry and sad as it is, we didn't have to go through it, but many people refuse to understand, be empathetic about other people's feeling. None of them, I will not say none of them, a good portion of this country refuse to understand the pain, the sorrow of other people. Okay? It doesn't have to be just African American, just anything that goes against the humanity. But as long as it's not them, they don't care. So now it's pouring over to the next group. Hey. And the other thing as well, I was thinking about it last night. Some of the things that we all experience here, we need to sort of look into the UK. It's not as bad as it is in the UK because they're so subtle with their tactic and they have their people in every place of decision makers, so they have control of that. But when you look at certain things, let's say Princess Diana, what happened? They made sure it didn't happen on their soil, but someplace else, so they don't take full blame of it. The way they treat certain people, we could learn from the UK. All right, what is happening in the US? It's a carbon copy, or should I say a blueprint or a script that was written by the UK and send it over here because they want to do so many things around the world. Many of these people, those racists, because they want to do so many things around the world, but they want to do it without any restriction. They have their groups in every country who probably align with them that they could get away with it. And then when they go places, they spread their vile, their negativity against one group they cannot really contaminate it in terms of the mind. They cannot sway those group mind. That's African American. They go to Africa, they spread their lies, things have happened in different countries, which I may never know. And they pin Africans against African Americans. Okay, people from Africa, they spew vile in their mind, and when they come to the US, and the same stupidity they spread on them, and they carry it on in the US, and they will have to see, or their mind will have to be completely open to understand and experience or try to understand African American. And this is what's happening here. This is the last group, in my humble opinion, that is left. that they still cannot poison the mind. They try to persuade all group, pretty much every group around the world. I don't know, maybe some of them are starting to understand and see that we're being lied to. But when you go around the world, everywhere around the world, they spread their lies so they could poison these people when they encounter African American, so they could treat African American in a negative way. Like I've always said, black people's skin is like a passport to be mistreated. So they spread their vile. Every group around the world, including other blacks from different black countries, they spew it. I mean, they are really good, masterful at psychology, because this was the only group they cannot persuade. And this is the only group that cannot fall into their stupidity. Why? Because the moment they were freed, they learn. Yes, they learn, but their mind is always working. Okay? It's always in the working mode to be protective, or to okay, this is the perfect word, to be in survival mode. So this is the only group, those white people around the world, including African American, they cannot persuade. So now they don't care. They don't care. I was thinking of my members might have seen that video that has a thumbnails where it's like completely gray, and the sky, there's a small portion of a blue sky within the gray sky. And I feel like this was like the last opportunity that these people have to pretty much contaminate the entire world. But they stuck. They cannot really get over it until they get to African American. And this is where we are now. But they just made a huge mistake. They just act their barbaric behavior onto the white community. So now white communities are seeing it for what it is. Blood have shed. So the white communities who probably didn't see it, now probably on high alert. All right, I'm not gonna go in the comments, so that's that. Okay, this is my last one, and then I'm done with this video. I'll do another video. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. All right, this is 1 minute and 44 seconds. DL gets it. Why can't you? Let's listen.
So Ashley Babbitt, who was shot trying to break into the Capitol, while she was breaking the laws, breaking into the Capitol, while law officials were hunkered down. They were under assault and attack, regardless of how they're trying to recharacterize what happened now. When Ashley Babbitt was shot, Donald Trump called the police officer who shot her a murderer. Now, no one would say that because, and obviously if they thought that, he would be charged with something, but everybody knew he was in the act of protecting elected officials. He was doing his job. But he called the woman that was shot today by an ICE officer an agitator. So a woman who is storming the Capitol, who's part of a mob that is storming the Capitol, talk about hang Mike Pence and threatening violence against political figures. That person, according to Trump, the officer who shot her, was a murderer. But an ICE officer who shoots a woman driving away, the woman was the agitator. You got to be considered. I've never seen this president take a tragedy and be fair or make it better or become the president and try to calm everybody down or bring them together. It's always viewed through his prism. So a woman storming the Capitol in a mob full of people that are swearing to do harm to elected officials, the police officer that shoots her down is a murderer. But an ICE officer who shoots a woman driving away, the woman was an agitator. Be consistent.
Alright, so any other videos? So that's that. Okay, so please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. The next video that I'm gonna do probably will be on this channel. This will be the first tweet. I'm probably gonna record it before everybody's up. Okay, we're gonna talk about this. I posted that on my community, but oh my goodness. All right, so that is it. May God help all of us. Anybody who's outside of the US, pay attention to what's going on in the US. All right, this is why they capture all form of communication, the mainstream medias, the newspapers. I've shared all the steps that they were doing. Go back to some of my old videos. Will Lewis being taking over, what is it, at is it Washington Post or something like that? Okay, so all of this was a way to blind the people. So when something happened one place, people from another place don't have to know about it. But the thing is that with social media, people are talking. So even if you don't see it on the mainstream media, wherever you see certain things, sometimes it could be hard to watch it, but pay attention. People outside of the US, pay attention, because the same thing that is happening in the US, it happened in the Middle East. People might say, why, it's not the same. No, it is exactly the same way. I saw the beginning of how Israel was treating Palestinian. Young people were sitting by the square, just hanging out, looking on their phone, just hanging out. Teenage young people doing young people stuff, whatever they do in their country. I saw those men in black, all wore black, pushing them, like move away, move, like really instigating them. There's other videos where shops, okay, the camera in the shop was recording, and you see them walking, again, all in black, breaking the storefront, the glass in the storefront, walking in there, just instigating. I saw it all. People were not pushing back. The same way we see some people were, we don't want to start anything, the same thing. And then look what happened, okay? They move from one step to the next, and then they start blocking the road. They cannot travel certain places. They should, so many things to be said. I can't even say them because YouTube had sent out, some sort of a warning not to share this type of things, young people dying. I've talked about it, and I've showed you some of the things that YouTube have put for people not to discuss on their channel, because I was really talking about them. Even people who were not watching them, I was talking about them. Okay? And then they start blocking some of my videos, blocking them, and then giving me strikes. So I had to remove some of these videos. Otherwise, my channel would not be monetized. And you could see, I have a video almost every day. Look at how much money. Estimate revenue, $178.39. All right? They're suppressing. At one point, it reached 200. For some reason, the next day, it went back down to 100 something. So, anyway, if you want to support my channel, like I usually say at the end of my videos, I have PayPal link, Cash App, or you could be a member. You're not gonna get anything special, any video special. Just be a member to help support my channel. I don't even know if the money for my membership goes toward this. They control whatever they want to give me each month. I prefer PayPal or Cash App. But anyway, so that's it. Thank you for watching.
Kanaka. It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life.
You are all in this together. And if I may speak personally, we are all in this together. Because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.